What's going on, nerds? Welcome back to the Comic Book Nerd Nation, episode 44. I'm Fox2. Today we're here with the whole F and Brian.
Yo.
And Pirate, who is just sitting there soaking in his own stench from his own fart.
Straight beer farts.
Oh.
Horrible.
I want to take a bet that he runs off in the middle of the video to go take a shit.
It's an out thing, gotta go.
This is one of the situations where I'm really glad that we do this via Google Hangouts, not all just sitting around a table talking to each other. Because then we would be stuck just suffering through it with him.
Halfway through, we'd all be dead.
Yeah.
You guys would be hating it. It'd be like Nova 6 canisters just unleashed.
At least this way we can just sit here and kind of watch his terrible facial expressions as he lets them rip.
Chemical warfare.
All right, let's jump right into what we've been reading. I unfortunately have not had a chance to read much other than, actually, as I'm saying this, I just remembered I did read a little bit of some old Batmans. I have this book that I picked up at the local flea market, and it's called like Greatest Batman Stories Ever Told. I have one for that and one for Joker, and it's a lot of like older Batman stories, like the very early Batman stories and stuff. So it's really interesting. It's books that you wouldn't necessarily like. We'll probably never be able to get our hands on the actual comic book, so it's a little better in my opinion than reading it on digital, but it's somewhere in that in that medium. But it's pretty interesting. Other than that, I haven't had a chance to read much of anything. What about you, Pirate?
I read some Larfleeze. Yeah.
How are you liking that series?
I like it. I mean, I think it's a different take on the whole cosmic universe with the Lantern Corps and stuff, but I enjoy it. I think Larfleeze he's a pretty comical character, but he's also pretty badass too. Like, he don't give no fucks. He's like the honey badger of space.
There is the quote of the episode so far for sure. He's like the honey badger of space.
Anybody seen Finding Nemo?
Yes.
Yeah.
They remind me of
mine.
Yeah, the seagulls. Yeah. Yeah. It's when he does. Yeah, he does pretty. It's just pretty funny. But yeah, there's it's like this huge. They try to have this big like cosmic story with him, and it's just so funny that you don't know what's real with him, like, because he lies so much that he's just confused about everything, and it's not that he's confused. He has this delusion that he's told for so long that he believes, and it's just crazy. Like, even when he talks about his flashbacks to his childhood, like, he talks about how he saved his race of people, and he actually didn't. He was like a fucking narc, and like they were slaves, and he just narked on everybody, so he didn't have to do anything. And it's just I don't know. But he literally will, like, he's pretty powerful. Like, I don't know. Like, Orange. Like, after reading this, I start to think that Orange can be pretty. I think it might, like, the way they write it, it's almost like, damn, dude, I think Orange probably, if it was straight up like orange and green, I don't know, man. Orange would be tough. Orange, I don't know. I don't think green.
He can make his own core.
When he kills, or whoever he kills becomes his core.
Yeah.
But there's at one point in the comic where he ends up, the core that he made actually gets their lives back. So they take him as a slave, and then they're like torturing him, but they want to kill him, but they can't, because if they kill him, all the orange energy is gone. Oh, and I just farted again. It's so. It was like a bubbly one too. But yeah, but they wanted to kill him, but they can't because, So then they start arguing, like, do we kill him? Do we not kill him? So.
How'd they get their lives back?
How did that happen? It was like in issue 4 or 5. He goes into hold on, what's her name? One of the chicks Like there's like this cosmic. Let me pull it up.
Okay. You research that and we'll move on.
Yeah.
Okay, Brian, what have you been reading this week?
I've been reading all the normal weeklies. The one book I really liked. Well, we'll get into a couple of other books I really liked later because that's a whole discussion. But one book that I really enjoyed was the Future's End tie-in of Sinestro, which basically you saw that he was on a prison planet because he doesn't have the yellow ring anymore because some group that they made just for that burned off his finger and got the ring off of him to eventually beat him and throw him on this prison planet. So in the issue, you see him, he wanting, his same old Sinestro. He's not down in the dumps or anything. He's trying to get off the planet, and some dude makes a fake finger for him with like false Yellow Lantern powers. I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it. The finger is able to project energy that replicates his ring's powers. So he gets off the planet. And he goes to. Have you been reading the new Sinestro series?
Oh yeah.
You know how he made his own. He saved his some of the people from his race and created a new Kroger for them. Well, that's all destroyed. Everybody's dead. His whole Lantern Corps was killed by these people. And finally, they come to him, and he has the skull of that chick Larissa. Alyssa or whatever her name is, and he breaks her skull, and inside is a Black Lantern ring, and he goes, there's another way to establish fear through death, and he puts it on, and you see everybody on that planet that was killed come back as Black Lanterns, and at the end of this issue is a splash page of him as a Black Lantern, and all his old dead core members and race is behind him as Black Lanterns, and he goes, "This is now my my core, or this is now my Sinestro Corps."
Wow.
Yeah. So it was probably, to me, if you've ever read any of the Forever Eve, there you go with the FE again. The Future's End. That's probably the single best one that has.
Is this one of the one shots or?
Yeah, this is one of the one shots.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pick that one up and read it. That sounds pretty badass.
Like that title itself, the Sinestro title, is probably one of my favorite DC is putting out right now. Really? So that one just is just as good, even though we won't see anything of it. That was just as good as the rest of the series. Nice.
I have really enjoyed the Sinestro series as a whole. I think it's going to be it's definitely my favorite of what's going on in the DC books right now. That, and then a close second would be the Batman Eternal stuff, which I'm really liking too.
Yeah, that's with Hush coming back. That's
going to be epic.
Yeah.
So we'll have to just kind of see how that stuff pans out. Okay, so I've got like a little segue here before we get into the news, which there's not a ton of news. I've got some hypothetical questions for you, and we toyed around with this in some the first couple episodes of Comic Book Nerd Nation, and we never really got back to it. And I thought it would be kind of fun to just toy around with it a little bit and see what you guys come up with.
Besides a green dildo?
Besides a green dildo. So God, the infamous green dildo. Okay, so first of all, I guess these aren't really hypotheticals. This is more just opinions would be a better way of saying it. But good or bad, who would be your favorite sidekick character? We'll start with Brian.
Now, when you say sidekick, it has to be them, the character as a sidekick, if that character has grown up and gone on to a different hero? Like, you want them as the sidekick. Like, for instance, Robin Original
Not
Dick
Nightwing.
is
Yeah.
like not Nightwing.
Yeah.
So if I said Robin, I could pick any number of the Robins, but clarify which Robin I'm talking
man.
about.
Yeah, I
See?
guess. See, there's some
See?
fucking gray area here, I guess. Well, the question is, would you consider Nightwing as a sidekick of Batman? I think I would.
No.
No.
You don't think so?
That's just like that means any of the Bat family can be a sidekick, and whichever identity they're using at the moment. I wouldn't consider him because as Nightwing he went off and did his own thing. I mean, he always came back to help Bruce.
That's true.
So I would say, like, if you said Dick Grayson, I'd say, Robin, but the Dick Grayson, not the Jason Todd, Damian Wayne, Tim. So it's,
Well, I mean, yeah, you'd have to be specific on which Robin if you're going to say Robin because,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you don't want Jason Todd. I mean, let's be real, nobody really wants Jason Todd. But, but that'd be like saying Red Hood then, too. Who's your favorite sidekick? Red Hood.
I would say my favorite sidekick would probably be at the time when he was a sidekick. I'd say Dick Grayson, Robin.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, look how he's probably one of the more infamous sidekicks. He's gone on to be his own superhero. He's gone on to wear the bat cowl. I mean, he was
good point.
Probably like one of the first original sidekicks. And he's probably like one of my favorite, like, not superstar character. I mean, he's not an A+ character like Batman, Superman, but
Yeah.
he's like a B. I'd
Yeah.
call him a B-list character.
All right. What about you, Pirate?
I don't know. Like, I don't want to take with Robin. I mean, that's kind of.
You hear that? He's calling your choice.
No, I mean it's like I'm trying for the benefit of the show and discussion. I'm trying to, give a little bit more. I don't know, like I kind of like Speedy from Green Arrow. Becomes Arsenal. But then there's Bucky Barnes too. You know what I mean? Becomes Winter Soldier. Those are two.
That's what I'm picking. I'm picking Bucky Barnes for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I kind of got to go with Speedy just because he's been through a lot. He's the only one who was addicted to heroin.
That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a very pivotal.
Like,
I mean,
he
as
can
funny
fight
as that.
anything. You know what I mean? Like, he motherfucker can beat heroin. He can beat anything apparently. So.
Well, I'm just saying, like that was a pretty pivotal issue too. That like hit on some real world issues and stuff. And it was pretty much unheard of to put a character using not just any drug but heroin like right on the fucking cover. So my choice, I'm gonna go with Bucky Barnes. Bucky Barnes, Winter Soldier, like you said. Plus he was Captain America for a while. I think that the whole storyline around him is extremely fascinating and well written.
Oh God.
Oh no.
He farted again.
This is a bad one.
He's farting.
I would not want Pirate as my sidekick right now.
No, that is
Dude, I'd be a pretty devastating one though. I mean,
just scare him
for
away
good or evil.
with your stench.
'Cause
Stench man.
Because if we're trying to sneak into a base and they have dogs, they're gonna smell
It's
the
over.
shit out of them. No pun intended. No pun
I
intended.
see what you did
No
there.
pun intended. What the fuck?
All right, favorite major crossover event, Brian. Hit me with one.
Ooh.
This has to be easy.
You're making noises like I just tickled you in the right spot or something. Ooh.
There's so
Ooh.
many good ones that it's like, which one do I pick?
I know you want to say Original Sin.
Oh yeah.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. Shit.
Think on it. We'll come back to you.
No, I got it.
Okay.
Blackest Night.
Oh, you motherfucker.
I love the Blackest. You can't not. I mean, there's so many good ones even back from the 80s. Like, most of the crises are all good. Most of Marvel's. You know what? I'm gonna switch mine just so you could say Blackest Night. I'm gonna say Secret Invasion.
Okay, fill me in.
Because that was
I'm
fucking wild.
Not familiar.
You know who the Skrulls are?
Yes.
So Secret Invasion was the Skrulls for a number of years have replaced a lot of the heroes, a lot of people in power in the world, and they came up with a way to not be detected while they shapeshift. So a Secret Invasion is basically they let themselves known that they invaded Earth and just set everything in motion for like this huge like invasion where they basically tried to take Earth as their new home world, and basically nobody was able to trust anybody.
So you would say that it would be a secret invasion.
It was Secret Invasion. And then they had like characters that were thought dead for a while came back after, like Mockingbird. And it ended up that right before Wolverine killed the Queen to end the aliens' invasion, Norman Osborn shot her in the head, and that led into Dark Reign, where Norman Osborn took over Shield, and it was just like the events leading up to it, where the heroes were split because of the whole Civil War, like they came in right when the heroes weren't together. So while they were scuffling, it was just I would put it on my to read list if you've never read it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out for sure. What about you, Pirate?
I mean, well, since you're going, Blackest Night, which that's up there for me. I don't know if I'd say it's this one. I don't know. I kind of want to say Forever Evil, just because we're not really sure the end of it yet, and how DC's kind of drugged this out into,
with the whole Anti-Monitor showing up.
Yeah, they're doing a really good job of keeping everybody still guessing, and the thing's been over for what now, like
months.
6 months.
Yeah.
And everybody's still kind of like they timed a new thing perfectly to where they can wait and have plenty of time to kind of like really put thought into what's going to happen with this, and then without having to ruin anything currently going on.
Yeah, it's
so I'm going to kind of go with Forever Evil only because I'm not sure if it is good or if it's the best or not. It's as of right now it stands. I'm curious, so I'm going to go with it.
Well, I'm gonna go with Blackest Night, like I said, but it barely beating out Forever Evil, like you said. Blackest Night to me was just so intricate, the way that it pulled in all the different characters, and it didn't matter who your favorite character was. Basically, you probably got to see them in that story. I mean, there was some that weren't there, but so many characters that are not necessarily always a focal point of good stories got to kind of have their own spotlight a little bit in that storyline. Blackest Night for me is one that I think could be a while before any Green Lantern writer comes up with something that has that kind of impact and that kind of gravity when you're reading it. I think it's going to be like the Holy Grail, like that's what they're always kind of aspiring to achieve when they're coming up with crossover events for the Lantern family. We'll see what happens though. There's supposed to be another big one coming later this year, I think. Is that right?
I think it starts next week.
Does it start as early as next week? Damn.
I mean, this thing's supposed to be long. And look at all the Lantern type books that are out there. So many
Lantern titles right now. You got Red Lantern, you got Green Lantern Guardians, you got Green Lantern, you got Sinestro,
Green Lantern Corps.
You got I mean, there's probably
Larfleeze.
7 or Larfleeze. Yeah, God, there's like 7 or 8 Lantern titles out there right now. So that's going to be a ton of books.
Plus, with Blackest Night, like the events leading up to it opened up the Green Lantern, more of the Green Lantern, added more of the Green Lantern lore. You had all the introduction to the other, the other cores,
Yeah, the other cores.
like the Red and stuff like that. It's so intricate. Jeff Johns writes all his like crossovers so intricate and so like expanded that you're just like every issue is like has a lot of stuff in it. Even though one issue might be a little slower than the other, there's still tons of story.
That is one dude I would love to have as a guest on our podcast if we could ever get Jeff Johns. I am endlessly trying to contact him. If there's anybody out there that happens to be watching this that knows Jeff Johns or knows how I can get a hold of Jeff Johns to see if he would be on an episode of this with us, just hit me up, and we'll figure something out for sure. But,
I kind of think too, like with Jeff Johns writing, I wonder if he like sits. I think of like a detective's office with like a big board of like all different types of evidence, and then he just has strings. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I picture his writing style. You know what I mean? Like, how he's like just stares there looking at this fucking board with all these like strings and shit. Like, okay, we got this going on here, it happened here, this happened here. You know what I mean? Like,
it's very like almost Quentin Tarantino-esque. Like when you think about like the way that Pulp Fiction
he almost writes it backwards.
Was written, or takes place, like where you've got all these fucking side, all these side stories and side events that just end up kind of intertwining into one big major event. At least that's how Forever Evil was. That was another phenomenally written.
He's such a good writer that I've been collecting all the trades that he's written. I have all the beginning Green Lanterns that he started with. I've been collecting even the Avengers books he's written.
Oh, wow.
For that year he was on Marvel.
Man, we are on his dick today. I'm not going to lie.
It does sound like, yeah.
But that's okay, because he is pretty fucking incredible. I'm just saying. Okay, well, let's jump over and start talking about some news. First and foremost, let's go to Brian. You wanted to tell us about the Superman Doomed finale.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody out there has read it, they know how...
Spoilers, if you haven't read it.
Yeah, they know how mind-blowing this is. So, Superman Doomed, if we've read it, it was basically Brainiac sent Doomsday after to kill Superman. Superman killed Doomsday, got his spores in him, so he was starting to change into Doomsday back and forth.
Whoa. Yeah. Wait a minute.
I
think you're going to need to explain that a little further.
Doomsday had this thing where he was...
How did Doomsday's spores get inside Superman?
When Superman ripped him in half, the New 52 Doomsday had this thing where wherever he walked, it wasn't only like his sheer force of destruction and power burning shit. He let off this like, I don't know, energy or like this stuff from him that was able to like just kill people. Just people couldn't stay within like yards of him. Like everything around him would burn. So when Superman ripped him in half, it infected him like a virus, and it slowly like started to change him into Doomsday. Like Doomsday was also in his head. So
So it was like a Peter Parker, Doc Ock type situation.
Not really a mind. It wasn't like a mind swap. It was more like an infection. Like because Doomsday infected Superman. Yeah, he would see images of him breaking Lex Luthor's neck, and he would turn into like a rage monster, and he would slowly you'd see him turn into Doomsday, like the spikes everywhere, and So, you know, finally they realized that Brainiac was involved and stuff like that. So it ended up like Superman letting himself go to Doomsday and going to destroy Brainiac's mothership. So they get into a fight. They're about to end it, and they open up a black hole and both of them get sucked into the black hole. So the last few pages, Brainiac's in this room, and something's like some kind of robotic voice is talking to him. And the last page is a splash page of Brainiac on his knees saying, "What is this?" And you seeing shards of different images. One image was Superman, the normal Superman that we know with the red trunks, the original Teen Titans with Robin in his with Nightwing in his acrobat type outfit that the Flying Graysons used to wear. There's a splash page of Captain Marvel before New 52 when they started calling him Shazam. There's a splash page of the JLA and all this stuff. And a splash page of not splash page, but a shard of
Harley Quinn was on there.
The normal
Vampire
Harley
Batman.
Quinn, Vampire Batman, one of the Aquaman and Wonder Woman fighting from Flashpoint. So basically, reading this is mind-blowing, because if you go on certain websites, they're saying that voice that's actually talking to him is the original Brainiac from the pre-New 52 universe. So what that basically might tell you is New 52 is not a new timeline. New 52 is another universe in the multiverse, which opens up a huge avenue. So everything that we knew and we loved before the New 52 is still going on somewhere out in the multiverse. Did the Flash didn't really go through time? What is all this? So that leads into this week's issue of Futures End Booster Gold, where we see an older Booster Gold going through what he thinks is time, different parts of the timeline, until he meets up with his counterpart, and his counterpart is like stuck. Somebody has him, and you see Brainiac robots around him, and then he starts bouncing through time again, what he thinks is time again, and he goes to a part where he's in this room watching a computer screen, and he sees the monitor, and on the monitor is Superman and Wonder Woman kissing, and he goes to say, before he gets pulled away again, he goes to say, "This isn't my you," and he gets pulled away. So he ends up going back to the younger version of him. He's like, and they're talking, and he's like, "I'm not you. I'm not an older version of you. I'm another version of you." So this just blows everything up. If you go to these websites, people are like, "What does this mean? Does this mean that the big event that has to do with Booster Gold that's coming next year in April, is this another crisis, Infinite Crisis on multiple Earths? What does this mean?" And we've already seen at the end of Forever Evil, we've already seen the Anti-Monitor. We've already seen that what opened up the multiverse before Future's End was Forever Evil because of the crime syndicate coming over. Are we going to see another crisis, and are we going to see characters from our old 52?
Do you think? What if we see characters from the old 52, so to speak, working together with characters from the new 52?
That'd be awesome. But then, you also think, was the new 52 supposed to not be this big? Was it only supposed to be, a short thing that happened? They were going to go back?
And
if
then
it failed?
I thought there was some of the series that didn't reset, like the Green Lantern stuff.
Yeah. Green Lantern didn't reset. A lot of the
that?
Batman didn't reset.
So we've been watching two different universes at the same time. Like, I don't understand.
I kind of don't like this idea because I don't like giving the company credit and acknowledging the fact that they can just mix and match whenever they want. You know what I mean? Like I don't like that. I don't like they're like,
What do you
oh,
mean by
you know,
mix and match whenever they want?
like they could just throw in a different universe and throw in different versions whenever they feel like
Well, that's what
they
the old
want to
DC
spice
used to
things up.
do.
I know, but I don't like that. I never like that.
Like the
it's just me,
JLA always came from another universe.
right.
They were. That's why the That was their like why the Green Lanterns are all different. Like why
Yeah,
Alan Scott
with
is
Alan
different.
Scott.
That yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
they did that,
I just don't like it.
but
I mean, I like. Don't get me wrong. I like the different approach to characters, but I don't like when they like say, "Oh, let's just mash them together," and then have them in the same crossovers type or events. Like I don't know. I just
Is
me
that
it just seems like
multiversity thing that Grant Morrison's writing? Is that DC or is that Marvel?
that's DC. That's.
Do you think that has
but
anything to do with this?
I don't know because I thought I heard that this has his multiversity. This multiversity that he's writing
Yeah.
was supposed to come out years ago, but it never did. So I don't know if this has anything to do with it or not. So I don't know. We don't know what's gonna happen. This could be just leading to another crisis event, like New 52's crisis.
Yeah.
This might not. I mean,
I
this
hope it's
might
not a permanent thing. I hope it's more of a, like you said, leading up to some big crossover storyline.
Yeah, that's what
That
we're
then
all.
sets it back to New 52 as we know it.
Sets
or-
it back to.
Or, you know what I mean? Like
I think the
continuity
New
of
50. Yeah. I think the continuity of New 52 is going to stay. I think they just wanted to do. They're doing something mind blowing that we'd never seen coming. That these universes are still out there that we used to read. I don't think it's going to mix and match or anything like that. I mean, they did. I mean, if you read like, Superboard Prime, and if you ever read Sinestro War and stuff like that, was a result of his world, his universe blowing up, and the Green Lanterns taking him in. They've, the old DC always had certain characters from other universes still mixed in, so they could just be doing something like that. We have no idea, but like when I read this, I was just blown away. I'm like, these things still exist.
So, do you plan on keeping up with this then, like throughout,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
through the Action Comics and everything, where it's going to continue? I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, I want to read. We still don't know from the end of that issue what happened to Superman because they were supposedly pulled into a black hole. So these will, I guess, explain and it still doesn't show you what happened to Doomsday. Did the virus get cleared out of Clark? Is it still? Does he have to pull it out?
Have they been doing it? Because I started
Oh.
reading the whole Doomsday thing when they had the different chapters, like with Superman, Wonder Woman,
Yeah.
and then it was Superman Action Comics, and then there was the one that was Doom. I think when it first came out, it launched with like four different comics or three. I can't remember, but are they still running all through like Action Comics, Superman? Because it's the infected
no.
storyline.
Yeah. Doomed 2 that came out this week. That was
Yeah.
the finale.
But wait, did they have any other chapters in the infected up to that?
It was Infected, then Super Doom was like 2 issues or 2 or 3 issues, and then it was Doom. Then it was Doom
Okay.
2, which was the last issue, and Action Comics is the aftermath.
Okay, I gotcha.
So
Well, we'll just have to keep up with it. If you can keep us, up to date from week to week on it, Brian, we'd appreciate it.
yeah, if anything big gets revealed.
Yeah, absolutely. Bring it to the table. Real quick, before we move on to the next news, some other local news for us. We, myself, Pirate, and Topher, who's not here this week, all went to the Cincinnati Comic Expo last weekend. It was awesome. I really enjoyed it. got to see Neil Adams. You can see a Wonder Woman up there over my shoulder, and then I have, you can't see it, it's up high on this other wall. I have the Muhammad Ali versus Superman cover and the ESPN Greatest 100 Athletes cover that he did. And he autographed those, one of them to Comic Book Nerd Nation. And then got to meet George Perez. You can look over my shoulder and see my copy of Infinity Gauntlet #1 that I had him autograph, and then I had him do a quick sketch of Thanos there. So that was pretty awesome. George Perez is probably the nicest guy I've ever met. He was so down to earth, just so, he was just super down to earth, really, really friendly guy. Willing to stand there and sign whatever you brought to the table. I only brought one thing because I didn't want to be a jackass. There was a couple people that had like stacks and stacks of books for him to sign. It's like, man, come on. There was, I mean, how many, Pirate, you got there on Sunday of the con. How many people were, like, what time did you get there? So the con opened at 10.
I think we got there at 11.
So by 11:30, how many people would you say were already in line for Perez?
I know at one point, that the guy next to him, I can't remember who the artist was, he was yelling at the crowd,
Marv Wolfman.
Yeah, he was like, you got to get over in front of his table. Like they had him swing around, and I mean, there was probably every bit of, I don't know,
I just farted.
30 people standing. I know, I heard that.
Yeah, the first day when I got there, Saturday morning, we got there before it opened, waited in line to go in, got in line, went and talked to Neil Adams, got a couple prints, and then jumped right into George Perez's line. And within 30 to 40 minutes, I would say, of opening, there was over 70 people that were already in line or had tickets to be in line.
Damn.
I mean, it was absolutely crazy. He was definitely the main attraction of that event. It was incredible.
Think of how much money he made.
Yeah, $40. He was charging $40 for sketches like the one that you see there. And then he would sign anything you wanted for free, even if you didn't buy a sketch. But almost every single person was getting a sketch because
how can you not?
That's not. I mean, that's not that expensive when you think about the caliber of artists that you're talking. So that was pretty awesome. I also ran into Sean Forney, friend of the Comic Book Nerd Nation. Definitely has been one of our biggest supporters from the comic book industry. He expressed some interest in definitely coming back on the show and hanging out with us and talking about stuff. He's been super busy. I think he said 17 conventions this year.
Damn.
Or something crazy. I mean, it was something just like, oh my, like, I can't even believe that you've been to that many events. So he's obviously a little bit on the busy side. But once things calm down, we'll try and get him back on here and talk to him about how con season went and everything like that. And I'm not going to announce it right now, but I am in contact with someone that any reader of DC Comics would identify this person as a major contributor to what's going on in the DC universe. And he is a writer. So once I get a date firmed up with this potential guest, I'll announce it. But right now, just suffice it to say that there's things on the horizon to look forward to in a big way. I would say this is on par with the excitement level of when we had Neil Adams on the show. Is where I would rank this. I would rank it right there at the top. And I can tell you guys, I'll tell you guys about it after the show. But yeah, it's right up there. It's at the pinnacle, I would say.
Ooh, okay. I know it. You told me last week.
Yes, I did. So we'll and you can see and hear the excitement in Brian's voice. So just credit to the authentism of how exciting. Authenticity. That's the word I'm looking for.
Holy shit! I actually fucking grammar corrected somebody.
Yeah.
Holy bat boner.
Holy bat
Holy
boner.
bat boner. Holy Washington Redskins.
Oh, while we're on the topic of conventions, I will be attending New York Comic Con in 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Nice. Get some pictures for us.
Yes.
And we'll get those uploaded to the Facebook page and everything.
If I could lift my arm, there's so many people.
Yeah. Yes. If you can lift your hands.
But I could lift my hands because I don't want to touch any weirdos' butts in front of me.
Yeah. In other news, other than Brian molesting people, it was announced recently, this might have been over a week ago, but I don't think we've covered it on the show. I know that there was an article on our website about it, but we'll talk about it real quick here. CBS announced that they are going to be diving into the superhero genre, the comic book genre, on their TV network with Supergirl TV show. Supergirl TV show. What are your guys' thoughts on this?
I like it. I think that's fucking awesome.
I hope they cast the chick that played Supergirl in Smallville because she was hot.
Yeah, she's in what is she in now? She's in oh shit. She's in a show that I was watching. I was like, who is she? Where have I seen her before?
I haven't seen the Smallville. I've only seen the first 2 seasons of Smallville actually. I need to get it.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
I was at this antique mall, which sounds super fun, I know. But
you went
actually,
antiquing?
But actually, and Pirate will attest to this, around here, the antique malls are actually really good places to get great buys on comics and comic book, like, memorabilia and stuff. And I have to see what Brian's got posted on the set. Okay, that's a plunger. All right. So I was going through there looking for old comic books and stuff, which I've found, some really, really great buys. But I stumbled across this place that had, like, the first 5 seasons on DVD of Smallville for like $5 a season.
That's pretty good.
Or something. So I hadn't seen the show, but I was like, well, fuck it. I'll buy the first 2 seasons just to, for $10 just to see what it's like. Ended up really liking it. Went back and the rest was obviously already gone. So now I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to get the remaining seasons from.
I have a bunch. I think I have all of them.
Oh shit!
Actually.
Well, I need to just get those from you then. That answers that question.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a show that she's in. Never mind. I was watching Ted the other day, and she's in Ted. And that's where I was like, "Fuck, I was like, oh yeah."
The other thing that we need to talk about real quick before we're done is the Gotham series premiere.
We need to talk about that, but we also need to have a discussion about something else.
Okay.
With the but then I wanted to bring up, see what you guys think. But yes,
okay.
Gotham.
Well, we'll get to that next.
Awesome.
Gotham. I haven't seen it.
Then you fucking.
No, it's all right. Go on with your bad selves and talk about it. Brian, tell me all about it.
To begin, I'm giving it I'm at least giving it 2 more episodes to really get a feel for it. But some characters weren't bad. Some were kind of I didn't like their take on it. The first thing I didn't like was that they set it in the mid to late 90s. And to me, that's just I know it's supposed to be a satire of the Gotham PD, but
tell me they're all rocking beepers and shit.
No, Gordon has a flip phone.
In the mid 90s?
Yeah. No, it's not. It's
late
not mid
90s.
Oh, late.
It's late 90s.
All right. Okay. Yeah.
What would you say?
But
early
I don't
2000s.
even think. I would say early 2000s. Well, no, it's. I don't even think it's early 2000s because if Gordon came back from Iraq, that's where he was he.
Well, that would have to be
Either early 90s or
Yeah.
mid 2000s.
Yeah, but we've always had troops in Iraq.
That's true.
We had not boots troops. We've had Air Force.
Oh, that's true.
We haven't had, you know what I mean, like combat. There's been no infantry there.
So we would
like
have
that.
to assume probably early 2000s.
I
Yeah.
mean, it can't even be early 2000s because we didn't even invade Iraq until 2004, I think, was it?
Oh, then now you're just making it worse for me.
Okay, so
Like, I don't know.
go on. We'll try to, as this discussion goes, we'll try and pinpoint down the timeline. But what? Okay, so you don't like the timeline because of what? Because of the flip?
Because
phone?
that means
Or-
that just means like Batman won't become Batman until like 2025.
okay,
Like in
so
in
then
retrospect.
then I would assume that based on that, I would have to make the assumption that this would be set in the early 90s, like 92, 93.
No, even late. It had to been. What I do is what I did with this show is I watched the cars driving in the background, and some of the cars I saw they had to be like newer cars than the 90s. Like, you didn't see any Ford Tauruses and shit like that. There were like model cars that weren't 90s or early mid 90s.
Like
And
older
there was-
or newer?
Probably newer.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So you got
Besides,
just like a mix of stuff coming in that. Oh
Yeah.
no.
besides that, like, I didn't like, Edward Nygma's character.
Yeah. Why not?
He's like a CSI dude, a crime scene investigator. They showed him for like They showed him quickly in the episode. It wasn't like long enough, but when Gordon and Bullock, when Gordon and Bullock went to him to get like the information on a bullet, he was like trying to have them guess in riddles. Like he was saying, he was like saying riddles on like when they asked him, he was like making riddles out of like what it could be.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like nothing.
This sounds terrible.
Then there's Poison Ivy's character, Ivy Pepper, and she's like this weirdo that like just her her parents lived in like the slums, and like she was just like
Her dad was
looked all
abusive.
like her dad was abusive, so she was all like weird, and like the apartment her parents lived in had tons of like plants everywhere, and she was always like rubbing them or something. Selena Kyle's character just happened to be like in every major scene. Like she was always in the background sitting on shit, like a wall or a fence or
I heard
a fire
the
escape.
next episode's supposed to be based on all on her.
Yeah.
So I think she's gonna be I think she's gonna be like the main character of the show, more than fucking Gordon is.
Yeah.
That's what
I
it
liked.
seems like how they were like.
Like she's supposed to be there witnessing everything, I guess.
You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of the Stephen King's movie Cat's Eye, where like all these different things happen, and then the same cat is like always
watching.
Like, like running along the ledge of the building. That's exactly. Oh, Catwoman, get it?
Yeah. The Bruce Wayne kid was alright. Alfred was alright. I kind of liked Gordon, but didn't. There's a part at the end of the show where Bullock's crooked as shit. They made him so crooked. Like, it's like, come on, man. Bullock wasn't that bad. I mean, he had some questionable things, but he was, like, crooked as shit. He was, like, involved with, like, Fish Mooney or something like that, which her character was alright. I thought they made her out to be a huge crime boss. But in retrospect, she's just one of Carmine Falcone's like generals that watched over a certain area for him. Her character was Penguin I liked Penguin. He was really creepy. he was a really good character. Gordon was all right, but at the end of the episode, like, he pretends to kill. Bullock tells him to kill Penguin, or Falcone will kill his family. So he pretends to kill him. Like, he shoots past his head and, like,
Pushes him off the dock.
Yeah, pushes him off into the river. So, yet Bullock didn't ask to see a body. But
Well, that and a dead body.
I would always, from Gordon's character in the comic books, I would think he'd be like, "No, fuck you," and like do something to Bullock. But he just went with it. But I understand why they did it in the show. It set up Penguin, you know, being able to rise in power in the dark and not, you know, try to take it from everybody right in front of their faces.
Well, that and it talks about how Gordon doesn't want to. He wants to infiltrate the corruption from within.
Yeah, so to kill it.
I think that's why he wants to get on Falcone's good grace, so that way he could kind of expose everybody for what's going on in Gotham PD. So I mean, I think it's good. I didn't like the fact that fucking Gotham you had Gordon and Barbara Gordon, or Barbara. She's not
Fine, clean. Oh, they made her out to be a lesbian also.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what people are saying. That when Montoya went to her apartment and she's like, you know, and she's like kind of threatening her with like secrets, that they had a relationship of some sort.
Oh, well, I thought it was weird that like she lives in a pretty fancy fucking spot, dude, for being an art dealer, and you know what I mean, and he lives there too with and her. He's not making that much money, like I don't know. And there's a scene where she says, "When I become Barbara Gordon, this all becomes yours," or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Which I wonder if she even becomes Barbara Gordon. Maybe it's just some other Barbara chick, and she gets killed or something, and then he meets another girl named Barbara.
No, I think it's supposed to be her.
I don't know, like, because I don't remember them ever having money. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they didn't.
Coming from a rich family.
I don't know her much of her background. Because she wasn't she always dead in like most of the comic books?
No, she was. She was alive in year one. I know that.
Well, year one was the past.
Right, that's what I'm saying, but it was a comic book. I don't remember any other ones, though, that she was... For whatever reason, I don't remember her name being Barbara, either. I thought it was Sarah, but I asked somebody else, they said no, it was Barbara Gordon. So... which I thought was weird.
What was the bit of something that you wanted to discuss, Pirate?
Okay, so, in Man of Steel... when Superman is at the oil rig and he falls in the water, I guess there's been news from who was it who did that Man of Steel?
Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder said that we've already seen Aquaman in the movies. Apparently, the rumor is that Aquaman was the one who pulled Superman out of the water when he's falling, and you hear the whales call. There's the two whales.
Yeah.
Supposedly, he's insinuating that Aquaman was in that scene. We just didn't see it, but that's what happened. That's where the story, because I guess Aquaman was supposedly there because of the oil rig, and he was there to save them, and you know,
Superman got there first.
Superman got there first, but I guess it makes sense if a guy falls in there, Aquaman's going to try. He doesn't know that Superman's Superman. You know what I mean? He doesn't know. He just sees a guy fall in there. But
I guess to watch it again. But I mean, yeah,
it's been on some of the movie channels like all weekend.
Yeah, I know.
HBO or something.
It's been on a lot lately. When I was out of town for business, it was on like several times.
I tried to watch the scene and isolate that whole scene, and obviously you don't see any man. You just see like a mother whale and a fucking baby whale, like swim, and you hear the call. But I mean, if you want to, you could think about that. But that brought me up to a question. Okay, how come if Superman if Superman is like, he gets his energy from the sun, and like if the sun gets eclipsed, he gets weaker. Okay?
Okay.
So technically, if Superman's falling and drowning in water, water could kill him. Right?
I guess if it gets too much in his lungs.
If he was deep
I mean, if
enough,
he's
I would
falling,
guess.
if he's falling and there's no sun and it's completely dark, like so theoretically he could have died in that scene
Well, I mean,
because it was pretty fucking dark.
he stores it like a battery. It's not, he doesn't have to be in constant sunlight.
Yeah,
like the
that's
dark
true, too.
doesn't.
Okay,
It doesn't
well,
hap-
what
it
about
doesn't
when he goes
happen
to
right away.
Atlantis? What about when he
What?
goes down to Atlantis in the comics? How does he? And he's down there for long periods of time. How do they get the sun?
Well, I think.
Well, he's
I think
still
part of
storing
it
the
is-
energy.
Yeah, I think part of it is too that he's storing energy, like he said, like a battery. So it depends on what he's doing. You know, obviously, like having a conversation is going to use less of his energy than fighting a battle. Fighting a battle against a formidable opponent is going to burn more energy than fighting a battle against like a less.
I'm just
formidable
saying, if you want to
opponent.
kill Superman, just hold him in deep water for an extended period of time.
It'd have to be a really long time.
I think so too.
I'm just saying.
But I think
Yeah.
I guess theoretically it could be done. I guess I don't. Let's get the opinion of our viewers. If you're still watching at this point, you're obviously a fan. So weigh in. Do you think, based on Pirate's theory, that you could potentially drown Superman if you could come up with a way to hold him deep enough in dark enough water for long enough? Do you think it's
Superman
possible?
likes it deep.
He likes it deep.
He likes it deep and dark.
I got another bit of news that popped up last night that I just remembered.
All right, let's have it.
So supposedly, I was
Whoa, you are breaking up like a motherfucker.
Avengers 3 will be split up into 2 movies,
Avengers 3, 2 movies is all we got out of that.
which
Yeah,
makes
you
sense.
broke up. Horrible.
Oh, Avengers 3 will be split up into 2 movies. Which makes sense because if
It
they're
doesn't make sense because we don't know what you're saying.
It makes
What do you
sense, except for the fact that you couldn't call it Avengers 3 if it was 2 movies. It'd be like Avengers 3 and Avengers 4.
well,
No,
no,
you can
Yeah,
have
Avengers
like-
they did
3.0
Harry
and
Potter,
Avengers 3.5.
Harry Potter 9.
yeah,
That was
Harry
2
Potter-
movies. Deathly Hallows Part 1.
Yeah, but they didn't call it Harry Potter 9 either.
Twilight Breaking
Well, maybe they don't
Benjamin
put
Breaking Bad was like 2 parts.
Fair enough.
I mean, which makes sense to me because if they're supposed to be doing the Infinity Gauntlet, then and the Guardians are supposed to be coming to Earth, there's going to be that many more superheroes. It would make sense to split it up because that's a lot to put into one movie.
Yeah. I like the idea of it just because it's one more damn movie I get to watch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they'll probably be coming out back to back.
Back to back or like
Yeah, like back
A
to
year apart.
maybe like 6
No.
months or a year apart.
maybe probably like 6 months. I don't think they were going to put another
They'll probably
movie
film.
in
I would
between.
imagine they'll film it together.
Yeah, I
That'll
don't
be the
think,
smart
but I
way to
don't
do
think
it.
they would like
They'll
make
kind
a
of do it
whole
like
another
Matrix
movie.
2 and 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they'd put
Yeah.
a movie in between though.
No, probably not. Well, we'll just have to wait and see, get some more details when it comes out. But
Why couldn't I be an actor and fucking get a role in the Avengers movie or Marvel movies and just make tons of money?
it'd be kind of nice.
It's like,
All right. Well, that's it for this week of the Comic Book Nerd Nation. I'm Fox 2. We got Pirate
See you guys.
and the whole effing Brian.
peace.